Your funnel isn't broken, your avatar is. You don't need new tools. You don't need to watch a new course. What you need to do is know your customer. I'm going to show you how to do that using AI to take 30 hours of work and get it done in a matter of minutes. My name is Ryan Borden. Let's jump into this. This is Quantum Marketing AI. It's a community that has a lot of different AI tools in it, as well as live calls in case you get stuck, like Q&A each week, that sort of thing. What we're going to talk about today, if we jump into the classroom here and go to market research, is the avatar. So just if you're a pro, stick with me for like 30 seconds so I can recap this. So if someone is newer to marketing, that they'll have an idea what's going on. So most people start a business because they want to escape working for the man, or they're really good at it and they want to make more money and they like it. Or they just, don't want to be stuck in a job because it's freedom and flexibility, right? What they don't realize is that doing the thing isn't just their only responsibility. And so what happens is after they get their loyal fans and their friends and stuff, when they buy, they still need more customers. So then they have to start doing marketing. And what turns out is they now have to run a second company called a marketing company for their business. And they never signed up for that. They never realized it. And the stats show that while there's a few unicorns and some people are good at both, the majority of people are either really good at doing their thing or they're good at doing sales and marketing, right? So what happens though is marketing can take a long time to build an avatar, like to get to know your customer. You can spend 10 to 30 hours with this avatar. It's like a 25 to 36 hour time saving, right? And you can spend $1,250 to $15,000 to get this done. And some people have, and then they don't use them, or they aren't able to align it with a lot of other steps in the process to make great marketing. But you need to know things like the niches that your customer's in, your demographic information. This just takes forever if you've done it. I've built avatars and I stay on the shorter range. I don't like the process, right? I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to spend my time getting to know my customer. I just want to jump in and run the race, right? That's me. Like everybody wants to be that way for the most part, right? Unless you just are, built different, and that's fine too. But, you need to know your gender and job titles and all this sort of stuff, right? And you need to know the books they read, the social platforms they hang out on, which is really important, right? And so, for example, if it's in here somewhere, but if you have a certain people hang out on certain social platforms, they don't all hang out on all the platforms. So if you're on LinkedIn and you're like all over LinkedIn, but you find out that your ideal customer actually lives on X and Facebook and they really just don't use LinkedIn, you're wasting your time. And so most people don't know their customer. And for the few people who do know their customer, they need a system that works. And what Quantum does is it provides you a system. So we're going to jump in and we're going to build the avatar in a matter of minutes, right? We're going to build all of this stuff. And so Ava Avatar is the tool. And I guess what I really am trying to say here is, and then we'll jump in. Thanks for sticking with me if you're a pro. This isn't going to teach you, and I'm not going to teach you how to build an avatar or how to use a checklist to go through that 10 to 30 plus hour process. You can go learn that on YouTube if you want to learn it. The problem is that you can spend 30 hours building your avatar and you can spend 10 hours learning how to build your avatar, and all you have is an avatar, right? And so then you're good after like 40 hours. This is just going to do it for you. You don't have to know how it works. You don't have to even understand it. All you have to do is use the AI tool that's set up, as well as the other AI tools in Quantum, and then it'll build the marketing for you, and it'll just do it, and it just works. You don't have to understand it. You just do it. All right, so let's just do it then. So Ava Avatar, what Ava Avatar does is it builds an avatar for you based off reviews. And there's a video in here that shows you how to use it. Finding reviews is what it talks about. If you have your own reviews, like if you have a company already that's in business and you have reviews because you're on Yelp or Google Maps or whatever, right? If you have 25 to 50 reviews, use your own reviews. If you don't have 25 to 50 reviews at least, then you can pull reviews from your competitors, which is fine. If you are the type of business that doesn't have like a Google Maps, Yelp type listing because you're, an SEO agency, for example, whatever, then you can pull book reviews of a book that your audience would read that no one else would. What that means is if you are selling SEO to accountants, right, then you don't want to use reviews from the book The Dip by Seth Godin. Great book, but accountants, barbers, everybody, high school students could read that book, and it's useful and valuable. What's a book that your audience, your customer would read that no one else would? So an accountant might read, if it's an accountants in Ontario, Canada, there might be some specific book on regulations in Ontario or in Canada that speaks to the accountant. So that's a book only an accountant is going to read. So find that book, right? And then as for how to get access to this, there'll be a link down below, under the video, in the description, something down there. So I'm going to use an example. We'll run through a quick example with some plumbers in Detroit. I live up here in Detroit, and then we'll use a book example from Amazon, and you can use YouTube reviews as well, right? So let's jump into Amazon. So on Amazon, I'm just going to pull up, let me get it back to it here, The 4-Hour Body by Tim Ferriss, right? And the reason I'm back to that, to use that is the book that no one else would read. So Tim Ferriss is kind of polarizing a little bit, at least. The 4-Hour Body, some people are either like, yeah, that's totally awesome, or like they're totally like, that's not possible, right? Kind of someone would read it or they wouldn't. It's not kind of like, every person in the US or every person in France or every person in fill in the blank is reading The 4-Hour Body. Kind of polarizing. So that's what they were after, something polarized that's worth. So this has 9,000 reviews, no problem. Now, we want 1-star reviews and 5-star reviews, all the different stars, because the lower stars are going to tell us what the problems that they wanted solved that it didn't solve. And business is all about solving problems. That's the only thing you get paid for. I've heard it said different ways. I like to say it simply, you get paid for solving problems. It doesn't matter if you bake cakes, you're solving the problem of, I need a cake for my 4-year-old today, or without me having to do it because I'm busy or I don't know how. If you're a barber, I need a haircut. If you're a plumber, I need my pipes to work. If you are an SEO agency for accountants in Ontario, Canada, and I'm an accountant, then I need SEO because I need clients, right? You're solving that problem, and that's why you get paid. The bigger the problem you solve, the more you get paid. The more you know your customer, the more you know their problems, the more you can solve their problems, the more you get paid. And the more customers come to you, and the more referrals you get on top of that. All right, so let's do the reviews, right? So we roll down here. I'm going to click on See More Reviews, and now we're into the actual section. Whoa, sorry, that went wonky. Now we're into the actual section here where we can see the reviews. And so there's the top reviews, but then you just grab this. All the reviews are here. You don't have to click more or anything. On Google we do, but I'll show you that in a minute. So I'm just going to grab the reviews. There's 5-star reviews, 3-star reviews I just saw. There's a 5-star. We're just highlighting. And this is like copy and paste, not too hard. Copy it here, go back to Ava Avatar. If you find it easier to paste this in like a Word document or a Notepad document or a Google document and then copy it all at once, that's fine. We want at least 25 reviews. So what's going to happen is I'm going to copy these reviews. I'm going to paste them in here. While I do that, I'm going to pause the video so you don't have to sit here and watch me do that because, that's stupid. So I'll be right back. The only other thing I'll offer is I did click on, so a lot of these were 5-star, obviously it was 68%. I only have 4% of 1-stars, and I do want some 1 and 2 stars. So I clicked on 1-star, and I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that I include some 1-star reviews, just because those are obviously really helpful. And then I'm gonna go back over here and go back and grab some 2-star reviews. Beyond really like 50 reviews, it doesn't really help you. Like, you don't have to go through here and copy like 4,000 reviews because that would be ridiculous. All right, so now that we have this, I'm just gonna hit enter, and it looks like I actually have submitted too long of a message. So let's just do this, right? Because it's simple. I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna open up Word here. I got too many reviews, and that can happen, and that's fine. We're just going to trim it off some. So Notepad would probably been simpler, but a lot of these are very long reviews. I don't see that quite as much. This actually is, what is this? This is 122 pages. That obviously is too long. So I'm going to cut from the top and get rid of some of these 5-star reviews. But this is obviously a little bit, I don't know what the limitation. ChatGPT keeps getting longer and longer on what they can have as reviews, but this is, or what they can have as a text input. this obviously is too much. But when I've done this with other books, they're shorter, then it doesn't really matter, right? So now what do we have now? Let me trim this up and I'll be right back. All right, so I got, I don't know, like 40 pages or so. Got it down to that. Where is it is 40 pages, right? And so 40 pages works. That's fine. And let's go ahead and submit this. So that'll take just a second. And it's going to build us now a ridiculously long avatar that is super useful and helpful. So here's the source. The core desire, of course, is health. The niches, no surprise, biohacking, weight loss, functional fitness, etc. Here's demographic information, 30 to 60-year-olds, biohacking, Betty. It gives it a name, which is super useful. You want to have a name and oftentimes a picture when you build a actual avatar. So Minimalist Max or Biohacking Betty. These are job titles of people that would want it, locations, common locations across the world, relationship status, parental status, work, business owners, personality types. We can see these. Those are very helpful. Here is advice and influence, what weight loss strategies, biohacking, yada, 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 right? So there's lots of great information here. These are other books that they would read, social media channels that hang out on YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, podcasts, and Twitter. There's no LinkedIn here, right? Not to say that some of them won't be there, but these are the primary channels. So if you're going to create content, you want to create content and put it on these platforms, right? And same would go with ads. If you're buying ads. So if you're buying ads, for example, on Google search or LinkedIn, that's less common for these. So you want to focus on where it is. This is super helpful. Influencers they follow, or motivation and pains and frustrations, right? There's too many changes at once. It's just overwhelming. I don't have hours to spend at the gym. The cheat day made me gain it all back, right? So these are things they say to themselves in their own words. Ineffective solutions, problems, paths. And so these are all things that you can reference. Now, why does this really matter? So what this really matters is, one, if you want to sit down and write an ad or write SEO or write an article or whatever, you can read over this and prime your mind, right, for whatever it is, the content that you're going to create. Maybe you're going to create a YouTube video. Maybe you're going to create, a post on X. I don't think X is one of the ones on here, right? You're going to go on Reddit, right? Or make an Instagram. Doesn't matter. The point is that you can prime your mind to do that. So it's very important to understand this. And we're also going to use another tool here to get like a day in the life of. So what's my market thinking? Pains and desires, a day in the life of. This like gives you, these AIs will tell you like what they're thinking, what their pains are, their questions, like what the typical day is. So that's obviously useful. But I'm not telling you that you need to sit down and do this. And that's probably why a lot of times avatars don't get used. Is it's like, okay, I got this. Now what? And the now what is you're going to go back in here, and the way you follow through is market, offer, message. So market is the research team. This is finding out who your customer actually is. Offer is what is the value that you're going to sell them. So the offer, if you're a 4-hour body, it might be weight loss. If you're a plumber, it's fix the pipes or install new stuff, whatever. And then the message is how you communicate that. And then later on, we're going to get into other things like the actual, like building the funnels and then the traffic system that brings in the actual traffic and so on and so forth. But you don't have to do these things. They're not yet built. This is kind of like beta. So we have the market research team and then the LinkedIn team. So if you are building on LinkedIn, then that's a whole process in and of itself. Those are in there. Like, again, it's like beta. So all of those things I just mentioned, the market, the offer, the message, the funnels, the traffic system, those are all going to be AIs that are going to be in here that you can use. And we'll take our avatar, and all you're going to do is you just copy it and paste it in to other systems. I want to go write a LinkedIn post. Here's the avatar, here's the post, and I'll write a post that speaks to your ideal customer in the words so it resonates with them and they identify with it, and people want to buy from people they like or people that are like them, right? So psychology tells us that we like people that are like us or people that we want to be like, right? So if you can resonate with them, then that's what matters. And so you're going to just copy and paste this avatar over and over and over again into different things that you do. When you go to build a funnel, it's going to build that for you, but it's going to use the avatar. And so we start at the beginning. This is the foundation. It is, your concrete foundation that you build your entire house or business of marketing upon. And then in future videos, I go into like how to use all these things. There's also tutorial videos of like how to use it in here as well. But I wanted to show you that. I did say we'd look at plumbers if we have, so I don't know, this has 113 reviews, so we're just gonna go here, see if I can get their reviews. Where are the reviews? Here they are. And so if I wanted to build one, we're just gonna go back here and click on this again. And it's down here at the bottom. Ava Avatar, we'll just open up a new one. And we would get all of the, so we got to go through here and click more, right? Because I want to see everything. And I'm not going to go through and get all of the reviews here, like all 113, because you really only need like 50, but okay, so here's a more, all right, this is good enough. You understand already how to do this. So let's go up. All right, let's go back down here. All right, grab these reviews, pop them in Ava Avatar, and we will have an avatar. Like seriously, if you've ever built an avatar, like I said, I like to quit around 10 hours because I don't like to go that far. This is literally like, it's still cranking, but I don't know, what did we spend? 5 minutes, maybe. All right, so core desire is wealth. The reviews of Detroit Plumbing and Drain. This is home maintenance and repair. Their niches, right? Their demographic information. Home Hero Hank or Handy Helen, right? Again, goes through here, gives us everything that we could possibly want with, if we are a plumber, on how to make our, stuff. He even has like books that they're going to read. It'll give us the social channels, and the list goes on. And what's most important is, see, they hang out on Facebook, most dominant. They also look at YouTube, obviously, for DIY stuff. They're on Nextdoor, Instagram, and TikTok. So this is different, obviously, than our Ava Avatar, who's on YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, podcasts, and Twitter. So it's very important to understand your avatar and who your customer is. That is why your funnel isn't working. All right, so how do you get into the quantum marketing community so that you can do this? There will be either a link down here in the description or a button or something below this video that you can click and jump over here and jump into the quantum marketing. And then I'll see you in the community. You can have even more, and it's easy. There's a subscribe button down below. Find it now and click it right now. And after you click subscribe, click the bell right next to it. And now, here's a couple other videos that YouTube thinks is best for you.